Hey everyone, this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Although I am a licensed clinician, I'm also just a person. I love to be able to be in my real life and speak from that point. And that's where this podcast is coming from. So enjoy.
Searching for truth, looking for answers. There must be a way to another day.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's Alyea.
And Jill.
What I wish is that you vibe off of like my energy. So like I just came straight into it, really cool, calm, collected, like, and then you just went so corny with it.
All right, let's try again.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Alyea.
And Joe.
You know what? Some people are just meant for radio and some people aren't. Okay.
I thought I had a very smooth voice on that one.
Hi everyone. Hope everyone had a good week and is having a great weekend.
Yeah, everybody in New England's hunkering down. Is that what they say? Hunkering down.
I just
big
really
snowstorm.
Because I'm in like a bit of a and I feel like I have to vent. I feel like this podcast actually sometimes is a great tool for me to just express my feelings and thoughts. And today I will let you guys know I'm feeling a little off-centered. I'm not used to this blizzard energy.
Energy.
I'm not used to being stuck in the house because the blizzard has accumulated so much snow that we're literally, it's like up on, like, it's like above the fucking
It's
step
like halfway up the door.
where
right
you
now.
like, right. I don't know what this is like. And Joe had asked me, you were like, you've never experienced a blizzard? And I was like, no, because I'm from New York. Let's not forget. But now it's very easy that I clearly have forgotten because that was a long time ago.
Yeah, because if I grew up in Rhode Island and you grew up in New York and I remember experiencing blizzards and snowstorms.
Yeah, but how young were you?
I was older than you by 1 year.
I know that, but I know that like I remember my teenage years like better than my childhood years. So as a teenager, I have no recollection of this type of shit happening.
Well, it
to
did.
this degree.
It did. I remember actually driving. So I was old enough to drive. I think we were going to a club downtown in a blizzard or something like
What?
that.
Everything was closed in a blizzard.
Well, it had just started blizzarding, you know? And we were like 21 or something, 2021. And we drove down because I had an SUV at the time.
Oh, I didn't live here at 2021.
Okay.
I was in Florida. So only my teenage. So only from like, I remember from like 14 to like 19.
Well, it definitely was. I mean,
No, there wasn't.
You're acting like there was like fucking 15 years of no fucking blizzards. That's impossible in New England.
From 14 to 19 is not 15 years.
14 to 19, that's the only years that we're talking about here?
That's the only years that I remember.
That's not my fault.
So what happened?
Doesn't mean it didn't happen.
What happened before that? I have no idea. I have no recollection.
Well, it did. I can guarantee you.
14 to 19. Whatever. Anyway, so I really want to vent that this is the situation that I'm in right now. I don't know how to feel, how to act. I feel almost like I have some blizzard depression going on, which is like very similar, I would say, to seasonal depression of just kind of like I'm lacking energy and I'm just feeling really fatigued. And I was fine. I was fine yesterday. I was fine the day before, the day before, the day before. It's cold out here, but I could muster through that. That's fine. But blizzard depression is really something else. BD.
Yeah, let's not make this so negative. Jeez.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's beautiful out there.
Needed a moment to vent. I just needed a moment to just vent. It's hard for me to see the beauty right now because I'm so sad. I'm just sad that I'm not and 65, 70-degree weather.
Go 1 week.
Florida.
By the time all this snow is like kind of just sitting around and melting away, we'll be not here.
I will say, though, I do want to stress this. Like, if you're ever having a moment where you're like, I don't know, like you're living in your life and you're just kind of like down and out, and maybe you want to like move, or you just like don't want to be there anymore because you feel whatever, take a second. Take a second and just really process, like, what are some other factors that actually really could be contributing to that where you're at, you know? Don't just take that leap, because when I tell you, I definitely took Florida for granted the whole time that I lived there. I talked so much shit about Florida. I couldn't stand it. I was like, I definitely don't want to raise a kid here. I definitely don't want to be here. And then, you know, we had to leave. So now I'm here, and it's hit me. Like, I love Florida. I love the freeness. I love just the shit going on out there. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. I'm into it. The weather, the just everything. I'm just into it. You know, needless to say, there's some things I'm not into, and I think it's ridiculous. But
well, here's the other thing too. You haven't enjoyed a full summer here yet either, right?
Oh, so basically, I'm just living my life, just fucking waiting for, I don't know what, July, just so I can actually be like, oh yay, 2 months of summer.
Well, listen, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Then that 2 months goes.
Hold on. Let's just be quiet for a second.
Why do we have to be quiet? She's not hearing us.
Yeah, she's moving around a little bit.
Oh my God. We're all the way in our finished basement. So we're not in a dungeon. Finished basement. She's on the second, whatever floor. You think she hears us?
I don't know. She hears something. Look, she's moving around now.
She does hear something. Euro is moving. What's he doing up there?
Yeah, it's like there's a bunch of people upstairs right now.
The only people, you guys, who are really here
Euro.
is us. Us as like humans.
Yeah. And Euro, he's up there. Clacking around.
So anyway, just wanted to vent. Thank you. Moving on. and
oh no, you wanted to talk about that in regards to what Mike Tyson was saying.
Oh no, I wanted to bring up. So for those of you who don't know, I love Mike Tyson. I think he's great, very spiritual. I love to hear him talk, even though.
Have you even worn the hoodie that I got you yet?
Fuck yeah, I wore that hoodie. Are you kidding me? But you know how I am about getting clothes, like new clothes or new things that I really like. I don't really wear them that much.
She's a new clothes hoarder. Oh, by the way, Ewok outfit on right now.
Oh yeah, this is the outfit.
It's a cozy one.
Wait a minute. Oh. It is so hot, though, and so warm that even here in New England, I'm like, oh, I'm sweating. Like, I have to take this off. It's like 4 degrees outside. It's so hot. And it has the matching pants, for those of you who actually... H&M.
Real sexy.
Now, I was thinking that when I got it, it was going to be a little more fitted. Just a little fitted. And maybe I just got a bigger size. I don't know. But it is... I do feel a little weird wearing it out in public.
I mean, you're an impulse buyer.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, that looks so great. And then you're just like, get it. And then you get it home and then you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done this.
I have visions, Joe. I have visions when I'm shopping in a store. I see it in my head and then I'm like, I need to recreate this. And then that's what happens. That's how that works.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's why you need me, because like, you got to take your time sometimes with certain things. You know, this is why when we moved up here, prior to moving up here, I kept implanting in your head that these days would be here. And you're like, it's okay, it'll be fun. Blah, 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 blah. Well, here we are. Is it fun?
I did say that. Actually, those things did happen. That's a true statement. And I was like, it'll be fun. It'll be the snow. Blah, 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 blah. I literally, all it took me was after one snowfall here, I was like, this is stupid. Now I got to fucking shovel this shit. I got to do this, do that. Yeah. Like, I'm not excited, you know?
But we did get a snowblower, which makes life a little bit easier for Alyea, for sure, because there's only one person pushing the snowblower, which is me.
Right. Although I'll still shovel because I feel like I have to do something.
the walkway.
Yeah, the walkway. Or whatever. Sure. All right. So the thing about Mike Tyson. So I love Mike Tyson. He's great. And and he had posted something. He was with Cesar Millan.
Why don't
and
you
they
just
were-
play it, but play it into the microphone?
I am actually. So that you guys can hear what he says, because I kind of wanted to just kind of lightly talk about it. Okay,
Just sipping on some tea.
so here we go.
Oh, is that?
Mike Tyson. Let's see if this works.
Animals, like people, you just have to have the right experience on what they engage with, the right people, the right energy. Because at some point in my life, there was no way I was going to turn out to be who I was. I was going to be shot, killed, caught AIDS. There was no way I was going to turn out to be here with you. And I just think anyone can change. The person, the dog, I just believe anybody can change when they're prepared to change.
That's right. Well, that's what I call calm surrender. So once you enter into your calm surrender state, that's when transformation begins. So your most powerful state of mind is not happy-go-lucky or calm confident. It's your calm surrender. Because that's when you listen, you learn, and you heal. So most people have difficulty with the word surrender.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because they see it as weakness. But surrender means open mind.
Right.
So that was Mike Tyson and Cesar Millan.
Yeah, that's
They were talking about animals, but they kind of switched it to humans.
because you can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same type of thing. So my focus of that was really the word surrender, because I can't tell you how many times I use that word, like every day, all day. And when I use it, I get, not all the time, but I get some resistance with it because of what Caesar said. I think people hear the word surrender, and I think there's lots of factors that go into this. There could be some cultural factors, environmental factors, whatever, that may contribute to someone's idea or definition of what surrender is. So they can hear that word and immediately connect it to weakness, vulnerability. That means you have more power over me. Fuck that.
But what he's talking about is you're surrendering to yourself, your thoughts and your whatever you believe that should be or whatever, and just surrendering to the moment and being in the moment, basically, kind of.
Well, right, because I mean, we don't
With
have
yourself.
control. Right. I mean, we don't have control over like a lot of things in life, right? So rather than fight certain things mentally, physically, whichever way, emotionally, then sometimes we just do have to kind of surrender to the moment and kind of be like, you know what, just throw your hand. This is what's happening.
A blizzard.
The
A
blizzard.
blizzard.
This is where I'm at, right? Like, I hate this blizzard and I'm not happy living here right now because of it, but
Let's enjoy it.
right. There's like nothing that I can really do about it. So here we go with the surrender, But yeah, I liked the way that Caesar had called it what is it?
Calm surrender.
Calm surrender. Is it calm surrender? Is that what he said?
Calm surrender.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that. Because it's that state where you're just like, breath, okay. Like, I'm going to give it up to the universe, higher power, whoever it is that you have, and let shit be. I like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Cesar Millan and Mike Tyson, who is always a joy.
Yeah. Euro needs to learn how to calm surrender upstairs. He's fucking click-clacking around everywhere.
We need Caesar.
Well, we've always said we wanted Caesar, but I think Euro is way better here up north than he was in Florida. I mean, we've talked about this before, but
Yeah, because we live in
like,
the woods.
Like,
I mean,
really, I don't think he doesn't really need any help anymore, really.
No,
I mean, he could use it.
self-sufficient.
He could use it with certain things,
Self-sufficient.
but
He's good to go.
he's got more confidence up here. which
Way
is
more
weird.
confidence up here. Florida really hindered that.
Yeah, he was a little bitch down there.
He was not a little bitch. He just had lots of anxiety. See what happens? I live with. See what you're doing? Oh my God. Oh, that is not cool.
Little B.
So Joe, anxiety means that you're a little bitch. Is what you said?
Well, he wasn't.
Because that would mean that you're a bitch.
Correct.
That would mean that I'm a little bitch, and that would mean that I don't know, 85% of the fucking world would be little bitches.
Well, in Florida, Euro would have needed to learn calm surrender. But up here, he just does it.
Yeah. So, 9/11.
Just what is? jump right into that.
Whoa.
Well, yesterday we had a little kind of date day, which we try to do it every once in a while, and it started snowing out yesterday.
But it was like flurry, I feel like.
And it was just cold, and we went out to lunch, and I was like, let's just go home. I just want to chill at the house.
That's because Joe was being a little bitch.
I was
and
freezing.
couldn't take the cold, so he was like, "I'm cold," and so then
like even at the restaurant where we were at, it was like this breeze was like blowing up my back, and I was just freezing. So, anyways, we came home, and then Aaliyah's like, "Let's watch a documentary," and I was like, "All right," because the last time she talked about documentaries, she's like, "I really want to start watching all these documentaries, not so much the ones that I know about, but just like like real life." Like,
well, what happened was we had watched the Alpinist, right? Mm-hmm. And so, for those of you who don't know, the Alpinist is a really amazing documentary about a free climber, but he also climbs like
ice and shit and snow.
Right,
and
he was climbing like it was beyond the most. It was amazing and like insane at the same time. But so we saw that documentary, and then what I told Joe is that I really want to get back into watching more documentaries, but I want to watch them that kind of are geared around more of like just people doing shit that I never even like really thought of, just like amazing stuff, like living just this amazing life or whatever. And so.
But then you had, even when you were telling me that, you had mentioned something about like, even like things that I don't know about or whatever, like 9/11 stuff. And I was like, really? 9/11?
Crazy shit that happens and things that I don't know about, right? Because again, like I'm not really, like I don't dig into stuff like that. I'm not a digger. I'm married to a conspiracy theorist. So
no, you're not.
So therefore, he really
now you're really
gets going.
My character,
especially with 9/11. So I think I mentioned 9/11, and then you were like, "What?"
I was like, "I got one for you. I got one."
So
we watched this documentary called. It's from like literally like a year after or the year of,
because they were mentioning 2007 in there. 9/11 happened before 2007.
Well, yeah,
and they were mentioning documents. They were mentioning documents and stuff that.
Oh, you're right. No, 2005.
Joe, 2007. So the documentary came definitely after that.
Whatever. Anyways, it's somewhere in that range, and it's called Loose Change, and it was like impossible to find. It used to just be on YouTube, and I think Netflix even had it for a while too. But now it's like
not no mo.
Nope, that goes away.
Now you got to pay 99 cents for it.
Yep, on Spectrum. So good luck on that one. But so we watched it, and
crazy.
Did you come to any revelations? And did it come across as a conspiracy documentary, or was it very factual?
Okay, great question. So because not everyone, and I do want to stress this because I feel like obviously we all have different brains, therefore we all have different ways of thinking. For people who I believe have very rigid or just analytical, reasonable type of brain, engineers, maybe, like doctors, like something like that. And I'm referencing that because my father's an eye surgeon, he's a doctor, and he has that way of thinking. You're an engineer, but you're also creative. You have the art part of you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really go that far, But so I think if someone has that kind of mindset going into it, watching this documentary, I don't know what they would think.
Well, it goes back to the last podcast, right?
Mental immunity.
About this, the mental immunity. Where whatever is implanted in the brain initially,
right.
It's hard to switch that over,
right?
Manipulate it later on,
right? So if any misinformation, and we don't know what that means, right? But if any misinformation comes through,
or just information,
but I'm just going based on what they said. So if any misinformation comes through, then it's going to be hard for your brain to really accept it and retain it because of what already has been implanted, right? So anyway, I don't really have any thoughts really about like 9/11 besides the fact that it was absolutely freaking horrific and just like insane, but I never really looked into it. It was just, I wasn't watching the news, and I don't now. Like I was like 20, 21, 22. So honestly, like it happened. I called my mom, I called my friends, made sure everybody was okay, and then kind of like just kept moving on. I lived in Florida, like
Well, your mom was.
my mom actually was there. Yeah, that's why.
She was, like,
that was crazy because she saw it.
in
she
New
actually
York.
saw the building.
Yeah, and she had to like walk home from there.
Yeah, she had to
with-
walk home. She had
yeah, out of
to
that
also had to
chaos.
have like some extensive because she had like PTSD from that for sure. So
Yeah.
so anyway, as I was watching it,
Hold on. Going back, like, so do you feel as the
I'm
documentary
answering the
itself?
question,
All right.
but like I have to
Well,
like
it's taking a long time.
bro, like like I'm doing it for a reason because there's buildup to it. I want to explain everything. So what I was explaining was that those types of people with those types of mindsets might not really receive it. When I watched it, I don't really have that kind of mindset when it comes to certain things, and I don't have any other of my own thoughts or beliefs about 9/11. So watching it, it was kind of like I was watching something like that I just didn't know, right? So I was learning all this stuff and I was listening. What was cool about the documentary was that they go through history. And again, I suck at history. I don't know history. I'm awful. Ask me when World War II was. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, actually, it started off like
Okay.
I didn't remember that from the documentary, but it started off
don't
really
Very
gave you a
history.
deep history
very
of the
history.
United States history.
Right, which I definitely actually somewhat enjoyed. And again, they mentioned World War II and the year and asked me if I know what the year is still. And the answer is no. This is how much when history comes into my brain, it goes. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was very, I guess, almost like not shocked, but kind of like disbelief, but kind of like almost like what the fuck about a lot of the stuff that they said in there in terms of things that based on documents that they have that you can see wording and everything from the government and everything like that certain things happened that couldn't have happened, and so I think when I saw that stuff I was like what like for example the talking about the buildings. So there were 3 buildings in New York that collapsed. Right? There were several that were affected, but there was 3 that collapsed.
That free fall.
That just free falled, right? So you got the Twin Towers and then the
World Trade Center
World
7.
Trade Center, right? Okay.
Building 7.
Right. Okay. So, and when you watch the footage and you see it, it literally, so the plane crashes into the Twin Towers. Okay. One coming this way, one coming this way. They go in this way from the top, at the top, and then the buildings just free fall collapse. Then the World Trade Center building 7 next to it.
It wasn't even next
Nothing,
to it, really. It was like
next to it, but like
couple blocks over.
But nothing even. Listen, no plane ran into there. Nothing ran into it. There were also several other fucking buildings next to the Twin Towers, actually, that did collapse. That
they didn't collapse. They just got damaged so heavily that like parts of the other building fell on top of it. But the basic structure was still there. It didn't collapse
free
on
fall
top of
and
it.
just become like right. But yet the World Trade Center building 7 did, and the rest.
And
of
it
the
only had
buildings
like
that were
fires
around
on
it
like
didn't.
one floor too.
Right. Yeah. So as I'm watching it, of course I'm watching it again. I know very little about this type of stuff, so I'm like, oh, okay, like right, like that's what happens when a building. But what they were explaining, I guess, is that's actually not what happens.
Because those are the first 3 buildings in all of history that have collapsed on itself due to fire.
Right. Apparently, a building, for it to completely free fall and just lose the structure and everything, there would have had to been some type of something from the bottom that actually created that. From what my understanding was.
You have to destroy the structural integrity of the whole thing.
Yeah, it has to be for it to do what those 2 buildings and the 3rd building did. Now, when you look at all the other buildings around it, again, that were still all in the same vicinity, every single one of them were damaged, but they still had their structure. So then they said that the building 7, which is the World Trade Center building, fell like that because of fire.
Yeah.
And I'm going, but where was the fire? The fire happened. The fire.
I mean, they
came
showed
on.
there was fires within the building.
There
but
was
I mean,
fire
it wasn't
within the
like-
building, but it wasn't. It was the fire on top because again, they're explaining that for a building to collapse like that, it has to come from the bottom. So was there fire in the bottom of the building?
I don't know. I mean, not necessarily has to come from the bottom. It just has to the structural integrity, which is usually towards the base,
right?
Within the middle of the structure.
Yeah, I mean, the planes hit all the way up here. So anyway, when I saw that and they were explaining it, and then I saw the actual footage, that's when I was like, this is very interesting. Now, again, my mind only can go a certain way. Like I'm not gonna like spiral into this whole thing like my very creative husband
Not
here.
spiraling. I spiraled many years ago, and now I just stay quiet and listen.
So I saw it and I was just like, wow, this is crazy. Now the other thing that stood out to me was when they took us to the Pentagon, and when we got to the Pentagon, so
they still haven't released any footage.
Haven't released it, right? So the Pentagon, from what I know, is a very important government
Defense Department
building, right? And yet there were no cameras besides four cameras.
And two of them weren't even actually at the one was from a gas
station across the street, and then some other fucking thing. Okay. And then two were from the Pentagon. Like it looked
only
like
one angle,
right? Only one angle from like so this is the building right here. It was from like over here. Okay, so all you see is just a explosion. You don't see
a plane. Into it.
There's nothing flying into it. Like it's just poof. And then you're like,
and then there was no plane debris. That was weird.
Right. So that was interesting.
What about the one in Pennsylvania?
The one in Pennsylvania, little did I know, because again, I don't fucking,
Did you even know that one?
No, I had no idea.
You didn't even know that
I had no idea that there was
there was four planes,
Delta or United Airlines or whatever, that crashed in Pennsylvania with people on it that miraculously just disappeared. I don't understand that. Like a plane crashed with people on it in Pennsylvania, and all that was left, you guys, when people went to go there, was a hole, like of just like as though like everything
just like disintegrated
into the ground. Like it was just very. So then they were explaining that in terms of how that even could happen.
But once again, right? So I sent you that other video of the.
You sent me a video of the drones. I'm not.
All right, we won't get into that,
yet.
but if
we
you
will, but I'm not with drones yet.
But if you watch that, they purposefully crashed this commercial plane, and it was a drone plane. And after they crashed it, there was plenty of debris. There was a shitload of debris. There was chairs. There was freaking wings and metal everywhere. Right. I don't know where that stuff went at the Pentagon or the fucking
it's gone.
Pennsylvania.
They don't have any. Okay. Then what really actually did it for me too. This is what, like I'm telling you, all the pieces that really like did it for me. The last piece to all this that did it for me was when they took you through the time, the whole day. President Bush at 7-something a.m. was here, okay? Like President Bush was here. So President Bush at 7 or 8 o'clock or whatever fucking in the morning went to an elementary school or some school because he was doing some kind of talk there, okay? When he was there, there's footage of this. He's there, there's cameras, they're filming him, he's sitting there, they're reading a book, blah, 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 blah. Now at this time, the buildings had, one building I guess had the plane went into it. And then you see this, like, security guard or whatever, go over to Bush, whisper something in his ear, which, again, we don't know. We don't know what he whispered.
But it was the exact time.
It was the exact time,
where
though,
it just happened.
it was the exact time of the hit of the, from
plane
the plane. But, again, we don't know what he said. But he did lean into his ear. He said something. Bush then said, and continued to read his book. Then he leaves there. And then goes to some conference.
He went to not a conference, but he went to like two other places.
It was a press thing because he did speak after that. But anyway, so that's one. The other thing is on the same exact day, and again, this is all new to me, you guys, so I don't know if anybody else knows this stuff, but on the same day of the attacks was a scheduled fucking months ago. Okay. So apparently what the government or whatever does is they do these like these
War games.
these war things to kind of just in case, right? I guess. So they set up at different sites, okay? All around, I guess, in different states.
They're like mock battles.
Right, they're mock battles.
Where they have the jets fly out to certain locations, presumably like take down another aircraft or guide it.
Right. So it's like they're playing a fucking real life video game, and they're just doing it. So they had that scheduled months ago, and they had it scheduled for 9/11.
That morning,
exactly when the planes hit.
Yeah. So there's only so many planes in that area that are if something does happen in Washington D.C. or whatever, there's only so many planes that are in that area that can get there fast enough. Those particular planes were off doing these war games like 100-something miles away. So that is another reason why the planes weren't able to get there on time.
Right.
Normally, their standard operation is if a plane goes off course or something weird happens, within 10 minutes they're supposed to be guiding up to that plane and interacting with the plane, finding out what's going on.
Right.
Fighter jets.
Right. Okay. So then when that piece came out, I was like, whoa, like this is now, it started to connect to me on a different level. But Joe had looked at me and you were like, is this crazy? Like, how are you feeling? And I was like, this is crazy. But because 9/11 at this point in time happened so long ago, for me to watch this documentary now, it was almost as though I wasn't disconnected from it, but it wasn't hitting, I think, as crazy as it would had I watched it like around the time that 9/11 did happen. So it was crazy, and I was like, this is wild information, and I don't even know what to do with it. I think that's what happened. Like, my brain, it was too much for my brain to process, and I was kind of just like, okay, so I have this information, but, like, now what? Because
come to think about it, like, that seemed to be around the time, like, in the years following 9/11, maybe, like, a year, 2, 3, 4 years after that, where the words or the phrase, like, conspiracy theorist really...
it really
took hold in our culture, right? And I mean, there's a reason for that, right? Mm-hmm. Because movies like this, documentaries like this came out, and the people that watched them were like feeling like you, but it was like only a couple years out, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, there's all kinds of groups, there's engineers for 9/11 or something. There's something like 20,000 engineers that like disagree with how like the buildings came down. Engineers and architects for 9/11 or something like that, I think they call it. There's all kinds of groups. I mean, and then all the families from the first responders and stuff who, I think every single firefighter, policeman, or whatever that went into those buildings or helped recover people or whatever, at this point has passed away from some sort of cancer or something.
Yeah.
Every single one, I think.
Well, also, and that actually stood out to me too. They were mentioning in a part of the documentary when they had said that. So I guess, so the buildings come down, okay? 9/11 happened. New York is like all in a frenzy. Everyone's, like all this stuff is happening. And shortly after, or shortly during that time, I guess they came in, they meaning, I don't know who, but they came in to get rid or clean up as fast as possible, right?
Construction teams, yeah.
The construction teams came in to get out like all the debris and all the stuff as quickly as they could. And I think the fire rescue people, from my understanding of this film, were really pissed about it because they were like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, I guess, as though like there could be some evidence or there could be stuff in here and blah, blah, blah. But
literally, those buildings should have been treated as if there's like an investigation. But the construction team, I guess, was told by the government or whomever to go in there. And I guess their reasoning for that was because this is a horrific site. Let's get this out of here. Let's clean this up as fast as possible, which I understand. But I guess there was some conflict there because some people who were also there helping first responders were not really in full agreement of that. So there was that piece. Well, too. there was a lot of contention about like how the buildings came down so quick, and like they wanted to do testing on the materials to see if there was anything in there that explosions or something.
Well, they were able to. So they did find
They did find explosives.
So they didn't find a lot of stuff, to be honest. There's really not very many. Like, I mean, it's insane that after something like that, the only thing that I guess I get
Materials.
from anything is the fact that I get Bin Laden had something to do with it. You know, like that's kind of like what they really pushed out there. But they did find a certain specific material. I don't know the name because it's a very like scientific chemical kind of name. So I can't even like re-say it. But it was a chemical that was studied by these engineers and these chemists from 9/11 that I guess had certain chemicals or pieces of something in it that when sparked together or something like create some huge.
Well, the name of it was something Hemerlite or Imerlite or something light, and it was a basically what they were describing was they got some pieces of material from the site from 9/11, the buildings, and they had some scientists look at it under a microscope, and what they found was they found these chips, and it was like chips of like some sort of paint or material or whatever, right?
Right.
And within that, there was compounds that were once if they were lit or ignited and came in contact with any kind of fire, they would explode
Right.
essentially. So
they found that.
So the theory is that, and this goes kind of deep, and it would probably be hard for a lot of people to really like think about this, but they're
You're
saying
gonna see the theory. Well,
I'll say what is a possibility, right? Is there was construction going on prior to 9/11
Yes.
within, and they were doing refurbishment of like certain floors,
Yep.
painting, fire retardant,
Right. That's
right?
crazy.
And they think that this explosive mineral or material could have been mixed in with paint or the fire retardant, and it could have been sprayed all over the beams and columns
Right.
within the building. And then once fire, like a plane hitting it, lights on fire,
Then-
all the columns melt down. And they said, right, wasn't it? There was like literally molten lava
They did,
at 9/11 until December something. So
No,
months
it was,
later.
Oh, yes, it was. No, yeah, because
Yeah.
it happened September.
They
until
couldn't put the
December.
fire out at
Until-
9/11
yep.
for months.
Months. Yeah,
Right?
It was wild when I heard that.
And the only way that could happen is if something
you have something
like that.
Yeah. The other
What is the
piece
name
that
of that
also
stuff?
there were so many pieces in this documentary, but the other piece that came up was about the hijackers, or the people who flew the plane, because so there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there was like 5 of them in like one plane or something like that. But the individuals who I guess were flying or hijacked the planes that came into the Twin Towers, they they lived in the United States, okay, so they were living in it for like years, and they actually did go to
Flight school.
flight school, but never finished.
And all the trainers said that they all sucked.
Yeah,
They
so
never
they didn't
completed the
graduate, they
training.
never completed
They just
it,
wanted to
da-da-da-da.
learn how to like
Just
take
take
off,
off.
and that's it.
And I guess from what professionals are saying is in order to fly a plane the way that the planes were flown into the Pentagon, the way that
The
it was
precision,
so low,
yeah.
the precision,
And
the
the
accuracy,
speed and
the
accuracy,
speed, everything.
so-
They were like, there's no way in hell that individuals
Not
who
even-
don't know how to fucking fly a plane would be able to do it the way
Right.
that they did.
They're saying not even like a professional pilot might not even be able to pull that off with
They
a
didn't say
commercial
that.
air.
I didn't hear them say
Well,
that.
yeah,
Because
this is
where your drone theory comes
well,
in.
no. This is where I put in all the other documentaries and stuff that I've watched over time.
But don't do that
All right,
because
we're
we're
just-
focused just on one because
Okay,
that
fine.
comes from somewhere else. That's your
Okay.
theory that
all
I
right,
don't.
fine.
But I'll let you say that theory after we're done with this documentary. Okay.
Well, now we've unleashed the
this documentary
unleashed the
didn't
dogs
say
here on
that,
this one.
but they did say they were like it's basically they did use the word impossible. They were like it's basically impossible to do what
do the maneuvers.
they did
Without having the
Without
experience.
having the experience. So
I mean,
after all that,
Let me just go back for a second. Like, if you think about it, even say if the average person, me or you or anybody, just like learned how to take off in a plane, and when they're training you, you're not getting trained on like a commercial airline either. You know, these guys weren't getting trained on commercial airline. Commercial airlines have simulators and shit. And you're like feeling the weight of the heavy ass plane, and it's totally different, right? So these guys only had this light amount of flight school training, and just imagine like being up there and you're over New York and you're like, that building right there, that's the one I want to go hit, and you're like guiding this 500 mile an hour freaking rocket in space into that particular building. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, so that was interesting. The other piece too is they were getting into the passports of these individuals.
Oh yeah, the one that dropped out and they found it on the sidewalk.
So they fucking find a passport from one of the hijackers literally on the sidewalk, which...
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, that was just odd. I was like, really?
Seeing the metal melted to the point of the building just
right, all this shit.
But this thing's just floating around.
And here is just a fucking perfectly fine passport right here. That makes no fucking sense to me. And I know that the hijackers were actually staying in a hotel in, where were they?
They were 6 miles away from the CIA headquarters in Maryland.
Right. Yeah. So
at some rinky-dink
they were at some rinky-dink place. So anyway, with all of this, and also where the Bin Laden piece comes in as well, is because, well, prior to 9/11, I guess there was footage, right, of Bin Laden basically talking about...
This is like a couple days after...
No, it's not after. It's before, I thought.
No, it was after 9/11.
Oh.
So a couple days after 9/11, they found some video in a house in Afghanistan of Bin Laden talking about the attacks, of what happened. And nowhere in the video he actually said, "Oh, that was a good job that we did. This is a great thing."
Yeah, he never said.
He was maybe kind of condoning it because he was just like, "Fuck America." They've been fucking our shit up for a while, right? But I don't know. Supposedly, like I don't speak Afghani, so I don't really know. But
nor did they show the whole entire thing. So
and they say the translation was off or whatever.
Well, because the United States apparently didn't get someone who actually like really spoke. What is it? Is
Afghani? I think.
Afghani?
I think that's what it is.
That's the language for Afghanistan is Afghani. I'm serious.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not.
I feel like that's not. So where's Islam from? Is Islam a language or Islam
is a cult, is like a religion.
Islam's a religion. Oh, okay. Islam's a religion. And so there's Arabic. Stop.
Arabic. You need to just stop.
All right. I'm sorry, guys.
Jeez. Into the unknown.
So dumb. So anyway, they didn't have someone who really, I guess, was like an expert in that language. And that was another piece of it that they were like, well, how? So it wasn't really coming out or translating as, I guess, well as it would, had someone actually spoke that language. So there was that piece. I do believe that the history that they went into leading up to this was actually really important. Although I can't explain it to you.
Well, I can kind of go through real quick.
Yeah.
They started off with the fire at the Reichstag, which was like the parliament of Germany at the time, or it's basically like if Congress, like the House of Congress or the White House, lit on fire today.
Right.
So that happened.
And
back
that was
then.
by who? Oh, it was by some guy.
Well,
they found some. Right.
It was this huge fire. The whole place was destroyed. They found some kid
naked
in the back of the building, naked, and they basically just pointed the finger at him and said he did it. And
then they
hung him. Oh yeah, they beheaded him.
Then they beheaded him.
Yeah, and then that's what kind of started off. Germany.
The whole thing with Germany and Hitler.
Right. And that's where he started to gain his power. Yeah. And then, they kind of fast forward to like Vietnam and our role in that. And then there was this thing called the Gulf of Tonkin.
Wait, they fast forwarded though to, it was before Vietnam because they were explaining that at the end of the day, Vietnam shouldn't have even happened.
No. I mean, a lot of people know that.
But they were explaining why, right? So they were talking about something that happened before.
Well, I was just going to explain, yeah. So the Gulf of Tonkin, which was known as the moment in time where America got involved in Vietnam because of the Gulf of Tonkin. Now, the Gulf of Tonkin, for those that don't know, was ships, American ships, were supposedly attacked by the Vietnamese ships and in the Gulf of Tonkin, right? But and this is the thing that they talked about in 2005. Documents came out
Right.
that said that
Well after the fact.
that proved that was a lie.
was
The
a
Gulf of Tonkin. This is
It shows you actually written. It's a written
right.
statement.
This
It
is
shows you all
this
stuff.
is a well-known thing at this point in time that the Gulf of Tonkin was bullshit. It was a lie. So basically, our whole reason for getting into Vietnam was a lie.
Which that I think that part pissed me off actually a lot because of course I didn't know that, and I was like, wait a minute, so you fucking mean to tell me that we had all that shit go down, and people were killed, people have long-term effects from it, PTSD, all this shit, and it didn't have to happen.
Well, and then this happened after this movie came out that we just watched. But I mean, it was the same shit. We went into Iraq because of weapons of mass destruction. Do you remember that?
No,
You don't remember? That wasn't okay. So, anyways, that was our reasoning to go into there. And guess what? After they killed Saddam Hussein, do you think they ever found weapons of mass destruction?
I'm sure they didn't.
They did not.
Right.
So
So-
this is an ongoing thing over and over and over and over and over again.
So anyway, long story short, you guys, this is the situation. This is a
Yeah.
documentary. This is what I got into yesterday.
So next I'm going to show her some documentaries on JFK because she knows nothing about that either.
I know nothing about any history,
I mean,
anything.
it's very important to understand history because
It is. I'm seeing that it is, Joe.
right because it's like if you don't, then you just like live
I don't
your
know
life and
anything.
you're just like we.
But
who
that's
ca-
how I've
I
been
don't know
living
why
my
this-
life.
this-
That's
this-
how I've been living. So I've been living my life. I just want to be clear. I truly have been living my life, right? Just focused on. Man, this is going to sound so
Whatever today is
self-absorbed.
happening.
It's going to sound so
Whatever's happening today.
self-absorbed, really. But me, I've literally been focusing
no.
solely on me. I've been, went to school, went to grad school, blah, blah, blah. What do I want to be? I want to be a therapist, blah, 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 blah. Do this, make friends, have fun, school, work, get a job. But I've just been living my fucking life. And anything that's been happening on the outside, because again, I just haven't really been connected to it. I've been like, oh man, that sucks. But anyway, continue with my life. And I know it sounds like shit, but that's really how I've been living. So because of that, I've kind of created this imaginary, it's like a
reality bubble.
yeah, it's like a bubble that I've managed to create for myself where I just kind of walk around like da 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 da. That's happening. That sucks. But anyway, still gotta fucking do what I do because for me, at the end of the day, it will always be me. It will always be me, and now my daughter and right. So it's like my main focus on a daily basis is to make sure that I continue to fucking be the best therapist I can be, help people in the best way I possibly can, be the best mom, be a healthy, great wife, be a fucking great friend, and really, truly just attend to those people who I love in my life and really try now and focus on just giving back as much as I can just in general to anyone. So that's kind of my focus. So that's why I'm so, and it literally has been.
Right. And I don't think that you shouldn't feel guilty about that. And there's the majority of people are exactly like that, right? That's how in a utopia world that would be fucking great. That's how you should be living your life, right?
Right.
But because we live in a world with so many people and we have governments and stuff like that, especially here in America, it's up to the people to understand what is happening, right? Because if we don't and we just are all oblivious to this, then these things happen. You know what I'm saying? They can slide it past us, right? So,
that kind of goes back. Let me take that back. So let me connect that to the 9/11 thing. So we had a conversation after that documentary, and I was like, wait a minute. So based on watching this documentary, right? Joe asked, what do you think your father would think if he saw this documentary? And, I've talked about Melton several times. Melton, the man that meant the Melton's been on one of the episodes. But so when he asked that, I was like, I don't really know what Melton would think. I feel like maybe he would just kind of I don't know. I don't know what that guy would say. I don't know what that guy would think. I have no idea. But that brought me to the question in my mind of So this is where mental immunity comes in, which again is what we were talking about, because because the information that my father knows and is most likely implanted in his head is all the information from the news.
The news,
because he watches the news. Great, just that's his jam, right? And so if I have to go back to that time and think about what the news was talking about, the news was just heavily focused on terrorist attacks, bin Laden, terrorist attacks, bin Laden.
So we know
which made for a great story, because it made sense, it made sense. So it was like, oh, okay, terrorist, right? Like everyone. So that was implanted so much that all this other stuff that I saw in this documentary, let's say that's coming out now, I can see people watching it and still being like, well, they don't know the truth on this, or and challenging it, because again, the information has been already injected. And then Joe looks at me and he goes, yeah, well, they thought about this also before. Like, it makes sense that like they thought. And I was like, oh my God, I swear, like, it's like, there's something, I do think a lot of this, though, does have to do with the brain in terms of what kinds of brains that we have. I do believe that greatly. I think people who have a little more imaginative, I'm not saying that's imagine, okay, but more creative, artistic, or whatever, like flexible types of minds who can really I can see these people being more, like engaged in this type of documentary or stuff like this, versus, let's say, again, brains that are more rigid, analytical, science-based. I can see them challenging things if there's no actual.
But there is actual.
There is actual stuff, though. So yeah, I mean, there is.
So this is why it's
stuff.
so embedded, right? Like that was at the time. I think that's why it was so important. And even now, 9/11 and Corona are two totally different things for the most part, but psychologically it's the same shit, right?
Oh, in terms of
So if they're blasting it for 2 years on about Corona, get the vaccine. The people without the vaccine are going to give you Corona. Blah blah blah. Those are the bad people. Like, if they do that over and over and over and over and over, and all you do is watch the news and that's all you hear, then that's the thing that's getting embedded, misinformation or not misinformation, whatever you want to call it. And then if anybody tries to tell you anything else afterwards, it doesn't matter. So same thing with 9/11 at the time. For the next few years, it was the terrorists, bin Laden, we got to go get them. Afghanistan, Iraq, it's over there, not here. There's no bad guys here, right?
I will tell you, though, where they fucked up, meaning I think where the government and everyone else who I guess is affiliated with them fucked up with this COVID thing, is that it's been going on for 2 years. And throughout the 2 years that it's been going on for, it has not been consistent, meaning the information coming out has not been consistent. There's been many contradictions. And what I'm finding now is that a lot of people who, let's say, did once hold very, very, very close to this side have now actually kind of been kind of going this way and being like, okay, what the fuck? Whereas 9/11 was a huge event, one big day of all this shit. And then the rest of it was just news. So that could be more consistent, because it was just, like, this happened and then this is what's happening.
Memories kind of like fade.
Your memory starts to fade. But this is still going on. But as it's going on, you're seeing that it's changing. So it's kind of like, what's happening here?
I don't know. I don't think that this is like part of like some conspiracy or anything. But like the changing of everything. What it's doing is actually like giving the people more distrust of their government or leaders or whoever we're supposed to trust, like CDC, whoever, right, to tell us the truth of what's going on, right? So, once again, if you go back in history and understand, the Romans, Greeks, and how their culture and their whole government just got destroyed was from within, and they slowly destroyed themselves. And it started off with a currency. They devalued the currency, and then it was like the same phases, right? People, they were distrusting of each other, and it's just the detachment of community is what's happening right here in America right now, which is usually a sign of the downfall of
Which is
of a
actually
cult-
interesting, though, because
country.
I don't see 9/11 in terms of like the aftermath of it being a detachment of community. Actually, I think if anything, 9/11
that was the
actually
beginning.
brought, in the begin, it brought
Well, they had
lots
to do
of people to, especially in New
All right.
York, man.
I don't like to say that they had to or we had to or whatever, but like, like I said yesterday, what did we get out of 9/11? Right? We got TSA. We got the what the fuck was that big ass fucking law that they made? I don't know. It was all against the terrorists or whatever, but it really like affected a lot of Americans. It was like 1,000-page fucking law. And that's what implemented TSA and everything else. So they needed us to come together so they could pass these bills that they already had lined up. These bills were in existence years before 9/11, but they were able to pass them like that because they had the people on their side. And now at this point, so many things have happened, like what they all described in that documentary, the different layers, proving that government has lied to us and gotten us into all these different wars and shit, that at this point with the corona, we're just like, I don't know, this seems like another fucking stupid thing. We don't want to listen to you anymore. This is bullshit.
'cause now I'm
Stop
just
telling
over
us
it.
what the fuck to do, you know? And that's where we are. And so now it's the downfall. So
Yeah.
it's like a buildup and then a downfall. Romans had the same shit. I mean, they had the gladiators, they had the Colosseums, they built these huge buildings. It was like this buildup, and then they hit a climax, and then they just started detaching community. And for some reason, it with the downfall of a culture, there's always these like, and I'm kind of going into another realm here, but there's always like this sexuality not disconnect, but like confusion happens. So if you were to read up on history, you would understand that this has happened in the past, right? And it's happening now. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing or whatever. I'm just saying it's one of the signs. Right?
What did you say? Sexuality, confusion? Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
So
So where are you going with this?
I'm going with, like, if you look at the past 20 years, right, in America, not in just America, just in the world, right, we've had a huge increase in, different gender people that are thinking, like, that are confused on their sexuality or whatever. And this could be due to all kinds of things, chemicals in the waters or whatever. It could just be that there's always been, like, gay and trans people throughout history of, like, human beings, but to the point at which it is now is it's to the point where I feel as though it's a flag of the downfall of a culture. I'm not making it a negative thing either.
Right,
though.
but
I'm just saying it's like,
it sounds very negative, so I don't like the way that you said that.
all right. Well, how do you want me to say it then?
Because how you ended it with is that it's the beginning of the downfall.
Meaning a
of
downfall
America.
of,
So when I hear a downfall and then you're talking about different genders and trans,
I can also say
that doesn't sound.
I mean,
Sounds negative.
that's just one thing, right? There's just a bunch. There's a bunch of things.
I know that you're not trying to be negative with this, and I'm trying to but I'm trying to help you so that you can at least say it in a different way because that didn't sound good.
Okay, well, it's all right. So let's just take emotion out of this, right, and look at facts. Like,
Don't take emotion out of it. For
why?
A second. Just
because you have to. If I keep emotion in, then of course everybody's going to take it in a certain way and feel emotional about it and say, "Oh, you can't say that now. You can't say that." There's like
no, but I'm saying
this is a red
you
flag.
attach to emotion and also have empathy when you're speaking about these things and have some awareness and come from that place. You disconnect from feelings and everything when you speak, and then that's what sounds so like Jesus.
I'm saying there are signs of a culture in demise, and we are experiencing many of those signs now. One of which, confusion of sexuality. That's one.
But wait a minute. How is that a part of a demise. Again, when I hear demise, I hear something bad.
Okay, how right? So think of like you have a culture that how did we get to be 350 million people in America, right? There was people having back in the 1920s, people used to have like 7, 10 kids, right? Now we have one. We are literally having one kid, right? There's a lot of people not having any kids because they deem themselves as gay or whatever, and this is nothing towards that. This is got nothing to do with like how I feel about gay people or whatever. I'm perfectly. I don't care whether you are, right. It's about the reality of a culture and a community that you're trying to evolve and grow and build and get larger and be more successful, right? Now, if that community is less people are having sex and having babies and creating babies, then
now I get what you're saying.
This is and this is just one aspect.
I get
of
what
it,
you're saying,
right? So there's that. Then see, I tried to just say that and then go on to the next thing and on to the next thing, but we had to go through that and explain it. I understand why. But
no, but now what you're saying makes sense to me. Again, I think it's just the words that you use that made it sound really, really negative. So basically what you're saying really, I mean, at the end of the day is, so we have 350, how many?
350 million.
350 approximately million people in America. Okay. And it got to that place because, well, there are individuals, meaning male and female, having sex. And therefore then they create another person or several people. Back in the day, let's say my parents' time, or right, people were having way more kids back in the day. So let's say my grandmother, true story, had 12 kids, right? So they were having like lots of sex, going crazy, right? Having lots of fucking, right? Now, cut to today, there are people today having, I guess, or wanting to have less kids, less children, okay? So now let's say the addition to the world is less in terms of number versus what it was a long time ago. But now what's happened is we have also...
But then you're also building, like within a family where you have kids, you're building this micro community too, where you're teaching them things and right, moving on.
No,
now
yes, I know that. I'm just talking about number of people right now. That's all I'm talking about. Okay, because because when you say demise, that's what fucked me up. But I'm trying to help you kind of help them identify where the word demise came from when you said that. So the demise has nothing to do with the fact that you're trans or that you're gay or that you're asexual or whatever, right? The demise word that you used has to do with the fact that you're focusing on the number of the population of people in this world. And if that number decreases, let's say, due to an increase in, I guess, individuals who are just not reproducing, then that would be the demise.
Yeah, and
that's what I'm hearing.
But I'm also not saying that all of a sudden, like, oh, just because we're having... There's like less people. It's not that. It's about what you're teaching the people that you're creating. So a man and a woman have sex, they have kids. Say like your grandparents had 12 kids. They're teaching those kids. So those kids are the next generation.
Wait a minute. See, now you lose me. See, I felt like I was saving you, which is focusing on the number of people. But now you're focusing on the education and basically what we install and what we kind of help guide our children
this is
with.
Once again
and
another
for me,
layer.
I'm like, well, a trans person or a gay person or anyone can fucking do that. So
right. So this is just what I'm just saying is it's just another layer. Like,
I tried to help you and then you helped yourself. You should just fucking let me just stay there and then like now we're done.
Fine. It's the number and it's also the information that has moved on, which you're right. A trans or a gay person, they could adopt a kid and that could happen, right?
Totally.
There are things though, like we're going really deep into this and I didn't really want to do that, but fine. Like I can't, this is going to be hard to describe too, but there are probably things that are embedded in our DNA that gets, though there definitely is. There are things in our DNA that get passed down to our kids, right? There definitely is, 100,000%, right? So when you adopt, you don't have that, right?
Right.
So wherever, maybe you're adopting some kid from Ethiopia or wherever, not to say that environment is probably the number one thing, and however you teach them, they're going to be raised however that is. But they're going to have some things in their DNA that weren't passed down from great grandparents and like whatever hardships or whatever the fuck it is that gets passed through the DNA. And this is what develops a culture. This is why it takes so long to develop these like different countries and cultures and ways of thoughts and stuff like that, because it's literally passed down through DNA generation. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it doesn't really even show its full climax until, generations later, because of maybe hardships or whatever that generations prior to went through, right? So that's one aspect of it. Now, can we go past that now?
Sure, I'm listening. I'm just also reading everyone's comments.
Oh, what you could do if you're going to read them, you can bring this microphone up and talk into the microphone. So right now, Alyea has checked out of my conversation because she feels as though she tried to save me on the gay transgender thing so that I wouldn't look bad. And now she's trying to deflect and go read some comments that have nothing to do with it because people were commenting on the 9/11 stuff. And now she's got no gasoline left and she's trying to deflect this and go into some other fucking conversation right now. So what do you want to talk about?
I don't want to talk about, I'm listening to you. I just wanted to see what people were saying. That's it.
Nothing. You know what? Nobody says anything about this, and I wish they would. Fine, call me out and tell me I'm a gay, transgender phobe or whatever.
You're not. I know you're not.
I know.
I wouldn't be married to you if you weren't.
But the thing is, I wish people would actually, because they don't. Like, I know when I say something that is like on the cusp, because everybody just shuts up.
I don't shut up. I think I get very, again, I'm
uncomfortable.
Because for me, I'm a words person.
Well, you have to.
I'm a words person. For me, words totally fucking structure, right? A sentence or how something sounds. So for me, using the I guess healthiest or, whatever words to use are like really important. So, and I like pick words apart. So like, again, demise, when I hear demise, that equals to me sounds something negative. But when you put transgender and gay, and then you say that without really explaining it is one of the demises, let's say, of, then
right.
For me, I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
I agree. And I thank you for allowing me to go into depth and explain that. I hope everybody that's listening to this understands what I'm trying to say here. Once again, one aspect. The main aspect of the demise of a culture, we can, unless you want to figure out another word for it, where a culture is on the down trend, however the fuck you want to call it, is the currency, right? And this is exactly what happened in the Greek and Roman times, is they devalued their currency. How you devalue a currency? You basically, what they did was they added other metals into their coins instead of gold and silver, which devalued the actual, right? What we're doing is we just print it into oblivion, and everybody thinks that everything's great because everybody has more money, but really, if everything costs more, it's not good, right? And it's a long story, so we can't really get into that either, because that's a long one too. Because basically, I was just trying to bullet point some of the
You can't bullet point this stuff.
I wanted to bullet point some of the red flags of the demise of a country, and I literally only got into 2, but there's literally like freaking 50 of them that are happening right now.
If you want to know more, DM at a convenient truth, and speak to Joe on the side, because it won't be me, and he will gladly tell you.
But as time goes on, Alyea, hopefully you will be able to answer these questions, because we're going to watch more documentaries about history, right? And
again, it's going to go through. I mean, again, like, yes, I was able to say those points that I read, that I
You remembered the whole documentary? What are you talking about?
Because it was important. The history section, I actually really don't, in terms of like, see, for me, it's like the years and like what was going on in terms of like certain things or why. That's kind of like, if it has to do with history stuff, I'm like, I don't remember. Yeah. Because I just choose not to remember. I guess my brain is like,
yeah, the unfortunate thing with like, culture and governments and stuff like that, and it's a long-term play. So they can they can have ideas of like what they're going to do in 50 years from now, but they have to start chipping away now to achieve them. Because
I mean, honestly, once upon a time, actually, in our first episode, I referred to Donald Trump as Manson. And I think I need to take that back because I'm going to tell you something. I think...
Really?
I think... Well, I'm taking it back because I believe that... I mean, unless there's who's higher than Manson. See, I mean, there's a lot of psychopaths / serial killers that are really, you know, like high level. For me, Manson sticks out because the manipulation piece was just like to have a huge cult. I mean, it was just like nuts. People killing for you was just like, man. So I thought Trump, Manson. But then as we're talking and I'm watching these documentaries, I'm like, the government is Manson.
There's a few Mansons somewhere in the government.
That they're like, I mean, and I guess Trump also would be then a part of that in some way, right? But I mean, like, geez, like these people, and all they keep doing is just passing the baton to other Mansons, and it just continues to be a fucking thing that's run by a bunch of Mansons. That's why politics is so fucking stupid, because it's like no one's really, it's all...
There you go. You just explained government in America.
Bam.
Bunch of fucking Mansons fucking in control.
So good luck to you all.
I mean, really, if you think about it, like some of these jobs, like being the president of the United States, that pays something like...
Oh, bro,
I think it's like...
want that job.
I think the president of the United States only gets paid like $400,000 a year, right?
You never want that job.
So, like, think of all the fucking shit that goes with it. It's more of a power position, right? You want to become president. Most people want to become president because of the power you're given with that role.
I want to know how. I really would like. I don't know. I mean, because obviously every president is like, oh, I want to make a change, and I'm like, I mean, do you? And if you do,
I think they all do.
What change are you really? I think they
truly
all want to make a change.
All do.
But I don't think I'm not sure if they realize before they get into it that in order to make the change, you may have to also do some fucked up shit in order to get the change happening. I'm not sure.
Right.
Or they do know that because they've been in politics, and so they're like, you know what? I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, I'm willing to give in on this.
I'm ready to do some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what. Let's become president so we can do some fucked up shit.
All right.
Wow.
We're going to get going.
We are?
We're going to wrap it up. The baby's waking up. She's awake.
Yeah, I feel like we're
And
like halfway through the podcast.
It's 3:14. We've been on this for quite some time.
We have. I think we spent half the time me explaining that I'm not a homophobe, gay,
no, we didn't.
transgender.
Please, it's not all about
phobe.
you. So, all right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hopping on, checking us out. I love the comments because I do like to read them and kind of see what you guys have to say. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And
did you read them?
I did. That's what I was doing.
I mean, was there any questions or anything? Or no?
I mean, there was no questions. It was just like comments to what we were saying, and then people were actually providing more information.
Oh, really? Let's just read them real quick.
Okay. So
Hold on.
regarding 9/11 stuff. So one of the things. So WTC 7, which is the building. World Trade Center 7 never hit with debris. It went down on its own. 18 witnesses who saw explosions in the base of the buildings. They all died of gunshot sounds after the incident.
Died of gunshot sounds?
Gunshot wounds, sorry, after the incident. What? So there were 18 witnesses who saw explosions in the base of the building. They all died of gunshot wounds after the incident. So why the fuck were there people? Right. Yes, you guys are on the right track. She's right, meaning I'm right. Thank you. I don't know what I said, but I'm sure I was right. And then your sister jumps in.
What did she say? Like it was a...
Oh, well, never before has a skyscraper fallen down from a plane crash or fire. So.
Right. Actually, those buildings were designed to withstand a B-52 bomber.
Right. And your sister was just agreeing. Yep, materials from the 1940s, 50s. Started building 1968, finished 1973. I don't know what that...
Just read it.
Started building 1968, finished 1973. So all materials are now illegal. I don't know what she's referring to based on that.
What did she say before? Yep.
Materials from the 40s, 50s. I don't know what we were talking about something.
Oh, that I know what she's saying, which is not what I was saying. She's saying those materials might have been flammable and stuff like that they built the building with, but the stuff that we watched in the documentary was actually something that you would not normally
That
put
you wouldn't, yeah.
in materials, and it was like added
That actually you
somehow.
shouldn't put because of the
it'll,
because
like,
of the
ignite.
delicate, vulnerable, I guess, ability for it to explode. You know.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Anyways.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining. We will see you and talk to you next week. Oh, actually. Oh, we're going to talk to you guys, I guess, before we
can go
back home to Florida.
Maybe we should do one down there.
We should do one in Florida. You guys are
Yeah.
going to get such a different vibe from me.
Yeah. So we'll probably do one before and then while we're out there too.
At the fucking pool, at the beach, hearing the wind.
Okay.
all right,
Well,
guys.
be safe out there in that blizzard. Actually, by the time you hear this,
Blizzard will be
it'll be over. So you'll be fine. All right. Peace.